All right, guys. So, one of the things I want to talk about is first aid kits. And I want to show you some of the things that I carry in this truck on a daily basis. And it's just considered first aid, guys. Now, keep in mind that there is a difference between first aid and trauma kit. Trauma kit, we're going to do another video on, but I want to show you some of the things that I keep in my vehicle. Everyday carry. It's always in the vehicle with me. In the event that you get a boo-boo or cut your finger, something like that, it'll render first aid until you could go and get medical treatment. Let's dive right into this here, get a good angle here. Guys, so this is what I carry in the truck. There's Velcro, sits right on the back panel of my passenger seat, okay? And if I have to get out, rip it right off of there. And this has stuff that is packed into it, so just zippers, unzippers like that, right? And you've got your cold press right there. Pop this, shake it up, and that acts as an ice pack, right? And this here you could get at Walmart, right? I ripped the thing off there that shows what's in it. But this is clearly visible that this is a first aid kit, right? You could put something on here with a cross or something like that that's easily identified. But this should be self-explanatory what's in here. But you could pick this up at Walmart. This here was 15 bucks. Comes with a bunch of different things. One of them was this cold ice pack. It comes with two of them. I took one out, put it in here. And these usually come with some rubber gloves. It's one of the things that I want to talk about here, potentially upgrading. So what I do is I go to Lowe's or Home Depot and I pick these up. Venom Steel, they're called, right? Now, these are what they say is 70% thicker. I don't know if it's 70% or whatever, but they are substantially thicker. Now I take some out of there and I pack them into my first aid kits. Okay, they're really thick. So what I've come to realize is that these that come with the actual kits, when you go to put these on, they tend to rip, and especially if you're in a panic situation, you want to get things going really quick and you slip your hand in there really quick, these blow out. Guys, and if we're dealing with a person we don't really know much about or whatnot, it's good to have gloves dealing with blood or anything like that. So I picked these up from Lowe's or Home Depot. I can't remember the price on these. I think I want to say they were like 12 bucks, right? There's 50 gloves in there. But guys, they're worth it, right? They're really thick. So that's what I would recommend. I keep the actual gloves that they come with in there. However, I add these as a another layer of protection, right? So I throw those in there. Some waterproof, what I don't really know what this is actually called. I'm going brain dead here. Waterproof tape, so if you have to wrap up somebody in an arm dressing or something like that, you could do that. Some antiseptic spray. These right here, these are labeled razor blades, small razor blades, just in case you need them. They take up very little space. I don't know if I'll need these for anything, but I figured I'd throw them in there. Little pair of scissors, and then boom, some Q-tips, some gauze, stuff like that, some band-aids that are under here. And then in this little pouch here, there's some things that I don't know if you'll actually need it, but Zantac 75 if you get heartburn, something like that. Some aspirin packets that come with it, burn cream, Benadryl, Benadryl cream, right? There's some more aspirin, and then I do a little packet like this of Tylenol. This is rapid release, 500 milligrams, and acetaminophen, if that's how you say it. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but yeah, some good Tylenol, anti-diarrheal, and I just threw this in here, guys. I had this laying around, some Theraflu, cold, severe cold and cough. Takes up very little space. I don't know if you'll ever need it. I figured that I'd throw it in there. Guys, having a good first aid kit is essential. It's crucial. You know, I have a 7-year-old daughter. I have a 16-year-old son. And every time my daughter gets like a little cut or something like that, you know, she runs to me like I'm the EMT, right? It's a big production. I break out the kit and bandage her up, right? It ends up being a big production. But guys, you never know if you're gonna need some sort of first aid. Keep that in hand, keep that handy in your vehicle, guys. I do a lot of firearms training. I do a lot of shooting. I'm always at the range, and we're always running into some sort of problem. You know, people tend to pull out knives, they start carving things or cutting things, something like that. Boom, cut their finger down. And sometimes it's really nasty cut, right? You might get an instance where they cut it right to the bone or fillet the finger off, something like that. Not completely off, but really fillet into that finger. And it's crucial to be able to get some antiseptic on it. Wrap that thing up, put a band-aid on it, wrap it up in some gauze, put some waterproof tape on it, boom, send them off to the hospital, right? You know, these things are vital. Keeping these in your vehicle handy. And guys, I know there's a ton of band-aids in here. Like, this thing is extremely packed full of band-aids, right? This is probably overkill when it comes to band-aids. You know, some antiseptic wipes. Guys, the other thing too here, butterfly band-aids, closures. If you get a wound, like I was just talking about, when somebody cuts their finger really far deep and it requires stitches, this may be something that you want to put on to close it up temporarily. Wrap it pretty tight with some gauze and waterproof tape, or any tape in general, just to keep that so it's secure and tight until they can get to the hospital. These come in handy. I've used these a decent amount of times. They really work. Now, these are the ones that come with the first aid kit. I don't know if there's any specific name brand that's better than another. I've never really researched that. However, I can tell you the stuff that it comes with is pretty decent. Now, when you're buying first aid kits, you know, some of the stuff that's in it is chintzy. So what you'll tend to do is buy a basic kit, or buy a little bit better than basic kit, and tend to take some things out and add some things. Like, for instance, you know, it comes with little Q-tips, right? Now, these take up very little space. They sit in there very nice. So, you know, I tend to keep them in there. Will I ever need it? I don't know. But I do keep a bigger pack inside this, in this bag. You never know. You know, out at the range, you know, it's a lot of dirt and a lot of debris, and sometimes it's windy out there, and if you're taking a break and you don't have your ear protection on, things get in your ear, and they tend to come in handy, right? I've used them. I'm like, man, something's in my ear, right? So I'll go to the truck and, you know, use some Q-tips or whatever the case may be, and go from there on that. Little tweezers that come in that pack, and popsicle sticks or whatever, in case you have to, you know, wrap that around somebody's finger. It broke, tape it up to keep it stabilized so they're not bending it as much. You know, having a good first aid kit is crucial, and I know I've said that a bunch of times in this video, but I really feel that you need to have that. Now, if you're not doing shooting or firearms instruction, anything like that, it's still crucial, you know, still crucial, beneficial to have these things in your vehicle. If you ever run into a situation where somebody fell on the ground or there's a car accident, these things can help. You know, in the event that there's something major, you need to move from this to a trauma kit. And we'll be going over that in another video here that I'm going to be doing soon. And we'll go over that and learn the difference between first aid and trauma kit. Trauma kits have their place when there's something greater than a bump, bang, minor cut, something like that. So guys, like I said, look into getting some first aid kits. Start with your basic one that you could get from Walmart. You could get from CVS. Walmart's pretty good. Guys, also, if you go to Amazon, you could get one of these pretty decently cheap. You know, for 15 bucks, you get everything that you're going to need that's going to fix, you know, some minor injuries. Minor injuries, some cuts, tears, scrapes, bumps, and bruises. Now, keep in mind, too, with these cold presses that you get, these, there's like a little pack in there, and you squeeze it, pop it, shake it up, and it mixes in there with the chemical reaction, creates a cold compress, right? This is not for a long period of time. These get cold for a few minutes, 5 minutes, and then it loses the ability that ice would be able to provide. So just keep that in mind. You may find that this takes up a lot of space inside your first aid kit. So if you have a small bag, this may not be something that you want to carry in there, because you could carry other things like more gauze, more compression pads, something like that that would be more beneficial and take up, this takes up way too much room. So those things may be more beneficial, and you might want to take this out and put those in. But yeah, guys, keep these things in mind, and as time goes on, you'll figure out, okay, I want to take some things out, put some things in, and over time you'll end up with a bigger bag. But I like to have smaller bags with the same identical things in them, in case you need to rip this off and throw it to a buddy and he's taking off, sending a casualty to the hospital, whatever the case may be. So you have another backup, right, in case things go bad. But guys, that's my take on first aid kits. Stay tuned for a trauma kit that we're going to be talking about here, guys. All right, until next time, train hard and train smart.